guys, Nthefastlane here. In this video, I'm going to be putting a rear tow hitch on this 2012 Hyundai Sonata. This is the hybrid version, but this works for pretty much all the Sonatas. I'll put the years and makes that it works for underneath the video in the video description. If you're on my YouTube channel, you can click shop this video underneath the video in the description. I always pin it to the top comments also. If you're on my website, it'll say shop this video underneath the video. So where I'm at right now is I just went ahead and kind of ripped off the main components. I'm just going to go over it real quick. I'm getting real close to leaving. So pretty much right here, we just have this panel right here. And this has a bunch of little 10 millimeters. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6 right here. So you can see them right there. And I'll show you where those go. Underneath the driver's side, you have one here, 10 millimeter here. There'll be one right here. You have one here, right over here, and then there is one up on the back side over here. I don't know if you can see it right here. And that's pretty much it. That's those two right there. Now once you take off that cover, you're gonna have little kind of rubberized sticky pads, and you want to peel these off, and there's holes under here. You got a hole there, and there'll be two more holes on the other side. Now the exhaust, I got it hanging down right here. You have a motor mount here, and what you want to do is pretty much, we're going to come right here, and I'll show you this. This is a motor mount, and all you do is get yourself a pair of vice grips or big channel locks, and this is going to be just like this, and all you want to do is pretty much stick the pliers on this side right here and pinch them until it forces this off. You can spray a little bit of WD-40, but basically the concept is like this, and then you grab it and you pinch it, and it will pull that mount off. So once that mount comes off, you're going to come up under here and you're going to take off these two 12 millimeters and drop this, because the actual tow hitch has this part already on it, and we need to eliminate this part, but we want to keep this rubber mount. So set that aside. Then you're going to come over here all the way on the inside, and there's another 12 millimeter bolt that just goes right through here, and it bolts right to the exhaust. So take that one off first, and then come back to the back over here and take off the mount. Now that's going to drop down, and a lot of people think that the exhaust is going to fall all the way down, but it's actually not, because way back in there, way back up in the front, you see that little brace? That's a brace that actually holds it from dropping all the way down. So you can gently set this thing down and not have to worry about it come crashing down on you. And this is about the clearance you're going to get right here. So it's got a little bit, plenty of leeway to get in there. Now once you have that exhaust muffler drop down, you're just going to take out all these little 10 millimeters in this heat shield. So just take these out, and then you're just going to kind of push this, set that aside. You're also going to take off those stickies right here and right here. Now as for this heat shield, you're going to want to trim this out later. I'll show you how to do that once we get the mount in place. This is what the tow hitch looks like. Comes with all the nuts and bolts and everything you need to hook this thing up, along with, it should have the torque specs and everything in here. This is a 2,000 pound tow hitch, and this one is 1 1/4 inch. For vehicles, they don't put, for cars actually, they don't put the 2-inch ones on there. So you can always get yourself an adapter to make this thing fit. Now here's the mount that I was talking about earlier that you're going to use for the exhaust mount right there. Instead of using the original one, it's actually going to bolt up to here. Now right here, this is the hardware that you're going to use to install it. This is the wire right here that actually feeds the bolts. You put one of these guys on there and then screw this on and kind of pull it through the holes, and then it pulls the bolt down. I'll show you all that later. These are the lock washers that you're going to be using to bolt it up. And when you're bolting it, you want to make sure that you put the part that actually has the grippy part, the little notches cut in, towards the frame. Towards the bottom right here actually, because you want it to grab and you don't want them to back out. And then this is the other hardware that you use more than likely for the exhaust. So this is what it looks like. Basically you screw this little springy guy on here, just like that, and then you put this pretty much stopper or washer like that, and then you take the other end of the wire and you feed it up through the hole and you pull it down through the front. Now here's the two holes I was talking about. You have one here and one there. So we need to fish this one up through this hole and then pull it down through this hole. So So all we do is take the one wire, the other end, and we just slide this all the way up until we reach this hole and we pull it down. Now if you find it gets stuck just a little bit right here, just get a little hammer and tap it in and then pull it through. Now this is what it looks like installed in the front. You just kind of line it up and you can see how it works. And then we're just going to take this one off and then we're going to fish the one up through there and then kind of pull it down. Basically it just goes like this. And what we're going to do is fish the bolt up first, up like this, fish it up there, and then fish this big rectangle washer up there and then pull it all back down. So here's where we're at right now. You can see we got the bolt up in there. You're gonna have to tap it in sideways till you get it up in there. And now we're just gonna take the washer and we're gonna feed the washer all the way up in there, push it to the side, and then you're just gonna pull everything back down and turn it so it locks in that little square, and that's it. Now we're gonna come over to the driver's side and we're just gonna do the same exact thing. All right, we have all the bolts in. This is the driver's side. And over here, this is the passenger side. Now we're going to cut out the heat shield for the muffler. And right here it has Optima and all the Kia Sonatas. This is the cutout we're going to be doing right here. So basically we're going to take out 11 inches up, lay it out the way it is. You see how one side goes sideways a little bit, curves in. So lay it out that way. We're going to go 11 inches up and 1.5 inches in. And then there should be, I'm seeing right here, it looks like there's a little notch out right there too. I'll have to look at that. It says first cut 1.5 inches wide, and then 1 inch tall area to fit around hitch bolt. Now doing all this, if you don't know which way this goes, the arrow faces up. And you're not cutting it like this with it down. You want this to be like the turtle shell on top. So to make sure it doesn't U, make sure the U goes straight down. Alright, I'm going to make it real easy for you because instructions aren't that clear. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to, from the bottom, you're going to measure 11 inches. So 11 inches all the way up. Draw your line all the way down. Then what you're going to do is you find this hole right here and you're going to measure 1.5 inches inward and draw your line. So that's this whole square right here. Then you're going to measure from the outside here 1 inch from the top down, draw your line outward, measure another inch down, draw your line outward, and then just do 1 inch wide. So this little notch is where one of the bolts is going to be for the hitch. And that's it. You just cut this out, out, and out. So just overview, 11 inches up, 1.5 inches in from this hole that comes from the factory, then draw your line, and then 1 inch down from the top, and draw a 1 inch by 1 inch square. And then we're going to cut it all out. Alright, so this is what you're looking at. Just tin snipping out like that, and it's ready to go up there. Alright guys, so right here, you want to leave all these connected, these spring wires, so in case you accidentally push it up there, you could still pull it back down. So the unit, you're going to just slide these through the holes in the actual tow hitch assembly, and then pull them down. And then you can carefully sneak the nuts on. Now what I told you earlier was you put the longer bolts in the back, but that's actually incorrect. They have these really thick plates that actually go in the front here, plus the washer, so you need the longer bolt in the front. Now I put mine in like this, and you can't actually get these back out, so make sure you put the longer bolt in the towards the back of the car, towards the back of the exhaust, not towards the front. So that'll save you a headache that I did. Half the manual's in Spanish, which is kind of frustrating. Also, right here though, these bolts, they should all be the same length. No kit should be sending these with 2 different lengths, because it honestly doesn't matter, because once you get the exhaust up there, there's plenty of clearance for this bolt to be a little longer. So them making it shorter, I don't know if they're just cutting cost or whatnot, but that's a little frustrating. So anyhow, I put the smaller ones in the front. Hopefully I'll still get the nut to grab. At least the whole nut will go flush with it. We'll see. And I'm getting ready to put it in right now. Alright, so here's what we're looking at. You got the big thick plate here. I did not put a lock washer on because once you get these up there, apparently you can't really get them back down. So remember, the bigger bolt, longer bolt goes towards the back of the vehicle. And the shorter bolt, which should be this one, this is the longer one, towards the driver passenger. So don't forget, because you'll be like me. Basically I didn't put the lock washer on here, this big guy right here, but what I did do is I put the original support plate and I put Loctite, some red Loctite on it. It's not going anywhere, and it's really not making it any less supportable or weight distribution. It'll work just as well. It won't be any problem. So basically that's what it is. You get those, then you take the these long springy things off, the cables, the wire that feeds them in. Leave all 4 of them on before you put them up there, because if you accidentally push this thing up and push the bolts up in there, you're gonna have to have some kind of magnet to fish it in, and it's a nightmare, trust me. So anyhow, this is the way it is. I got it on this side, and now I'm getting ready to put the shield on there. Now the shield is already pre-cut, and you can put this on before or after, doesn't matter. Basically the only thing that's going to be a little off is right here when you screw it in. It's just going to kind of smush it in this corner, but other than that, you can put it in before or after. Now these bolts right here are 7/16, or you can use a 17 millimeter. And as far as torque specs, you want to torque them down to 50 foot-pounds. That's what it says. I just hit them up with an impact, 'cause that's pretty much, I got the feel for it. Been doing it for a long time. But 50 foot-pounds on the torque specs. Alright, got the heat shield in. And you can see where we cut out for the bolt right there. And right here. Basically, if you want, you can put this in first. It might tuck this little extra lip in up under the tow hitch. So if you want to do it before, it's not going to cause you a problem, and if you want to do it after, it won't cause you a problem either. So if I had a reason to do it, I would do it before, just so I get this little extra kind of tucked up in there, but that's all up to you. Now in order to get this rubber hanger off, you just go like this and you squeeze and it'll push it in, and you just pull it off. So here's the configuration with the steel tube. If you got a steel tube inside your mount, it'll be this configuration right here. You put the bolt through, you mount it up to the tow hitch, and then a washer, lock washer, and bolt. Now the one I have here doesn't have a steel insert, so this one's going to be like this, where it's going to be the bolt. As you can see right here, they do a bolt with a washer, and I don't know why they don't put another washer over here. It just shows like a nut, but I don't like that, so I'm going to put a washer in front of it. So bolt, washer, bolt and washer, then they put another washer on the outside before it hits the actual frame. And when I mean frame, I'm talking about this piece right here. This is what actually bolts up to. So you're going to have another washer in front of here. The nut's going to be here, and then you're going to have a lock washer and nut on this side, so it kind of pulls it together. This is the configuration you're looking at right before you put it on the tow hitch. So you got your bolt, washer, and then on the other side you have a nut, and then the washer, and then you're gonna bolt it up right there. Okay, so here's the configuration. You got your bolt, washer, and then on this side you have another bolt, washer, and lock washer. So that's the setup that you're looking at right there. Alright, the last thing you got to do is this protective panel. Basically you just have to make one little cut. So right here, just make a little loop cut. So here's the cut I made. I just cut around this outer part, kind of looped it around. And then right here, there's another cut. It's right here. It's a little bit You just want to cut out this little part right here just so it can slide by this piece, and you can still bolt it up and make it look like it's factory. And that's pretty much it. Here's the finished product. Looks really good. Nice and flush with the vehicle, and you can literally not even tell that it's on there once the vehicle's down.